You are trying to grow your online business and you start your week with a long list of things you believe you need to get done. On Monday, you sit down and plan your content. On Tuesday, you record some of the videos you have planned. On Wednesday, you think there is something wrong about the profile, so you tweak it a little bit. Then Thursday arrives and you now think there is something about the offer. By Friday, you have spent the whole week working on your business. It feels like you have done so much because theoretically you have, but then the weekends and you are not completely sure where the next client is coming from. I think this is where the illusion of momentum starts, because it looks like progress. You are creating, improving, yet the situation you are trying to escape is really not changing at all. And in this video, I want to explore why this happens and how I have seen it play out inside my own business, but also my clients, and what actually needs to change if you want your effort to start compounding instead of restarting every single Monday. The most difficult part about this is that none of the things I just mentioned are necessarily useless. Creating content is important, improving your offer can be important, updating your profile might be helpful. The problem actually begins when every activity exists separately. You create content without being completely clear on your ICA, which is the ideal client avatar. You update the profile without even knowing their actual customer journey and what steps needs to be taken in order for them to become leads or even clients. And you change the offer without using feedback from the actual conversations. Every task can feel productive on its own, especially because it gives you something visible at the end. You see the new video, you see the updated bio, you see the new YouTube video you posted. So your brain registered that you have completed something. But completing something and progressing towards a result are not always the same thing. I've experienced this myself many times. I could spend hours trying to adjust a landing page, my own profile, and it felt like that I was doing something important because I was working directly on my business. But this wasn't the actual bottleneck holding myself back from achieving my goal. And the work that I was doing and putting my effort into gave me a feeling of movement, but it didn't remove the actual thing that stopped me from achieving my goal. The way I understand it now, movement is when you do something, but momentum is when the thing you do makes the next step easier. The difference sounds small, but I think it changes the way you look at almost everything inside the business. If you create a video today but forget about it tomorrow, you have created movement. If the video helps you understand your audience better, it actually creates a conversation, move people deeper into your ecosystem, it has started to create momentum. If you change your offer because you are feeling uncertain, you have created movement. But if you clarify the offer based on the real problems your audience are facing, and that clarity that improves your bio, content, and everything you do on your ecosystem, then it starts to compound across your business. And that's why real momentum allows the work you have already done to keep helping you all the time across all platforms. And I think this is where most people are starting to compare themselves with other people because they see the final ad, they see the final video, everything is perfect, but we have never actually seen the work that was done before everything was posted. I started seeing this much clearly when I worked with Tine, a lifestyle coach who had a lot of experience and knowledge within her coaching, but she was not able to turn any of that knowledge into clients. And as you can tell, she was not missing the ability to help other people, and the answer was not to tell her to post more content. Because if we had immediately created 30 new video ideas without clarifying anything underneath them, yeah, we have created more activity, but we haven't actually changed her situation at all. We first had to understand who we actually were speaking to, what was their current situation, and the bottlenecks that were holding them back from achieving their goals, which is the main ICA. Then we restructured the offer around that situation and translated the same understanding into the messaging she was about to post on social media. Only after that it made sense to actually work on the profile, work on the video scripts, and actually posting an ad. The individual parts were not any special, it was content, DM setting, and a YouTube channel. But the results didn't come from randomly adding new stuff into her business. It came from giving every part the same direction. The offer and the ICA told us who the content was for. Then the profile and the content made sure that every person that relates to that situation stays in the profile and eventually press follow button. Then we run ads so that we add more traffic into the profile, and from there DM conversation took place so that people can go from leads into clients. A lot of business owners try to fix one problem while the rest of the business keeps creating it again. They might have a traffic problem, so naturally they start running ads, but the message inside the ad is broad and the profile does not clearly speak to the audience problems and how you can help them to solve them. So you get more traffic, but you are getting no attention at all. So they assume that the ad is the problem. So they change the creative, adjust the targeting, or increase the budget, which is the most simple thing to do. And as you can see, the real problem is that nothing is connected, so every action starts from zero. And this is what I believe is the illusion of a momentum. You're doing more, but the business and the efforts you put into the business does not move people forward. And when the business starts moving in one clear direction, you don't need to reinvent everything every week. One conversation can give you an idea for a video. That video can later answer an objection, bring the right people to your profile, and actually might start a new conversation with a new lead. You also start learning faster because every action gives you a feedback you can use into the next one. You are still putting in the work, but you are not constantly starting from zero. And I still fall into this myself, and I see many coaches doing it as well, because starting something new often feels easier than questioning your current situation. Before I create something new, I try to ask myself, what is this supposed to improve? Is this something that the market actually needs, or am I changing things because I am being impatient again? And will the work I do today make it easier for me to operate in 2 months or 3 months? Because if I have to start from zero in 2 or 3 months, yeah, I might be busy, but I'm not really building the real momentum. I used to think that the biggest cost was time, but I think the deeper cost is what it does to your confidence. When you work and put in efforts into your business every day, you start questioning yourself, your offer, and if there are any people who want your service in the first place. But please don't blame yourself, because your effort is really not the problem. The big problem is that your offer, messaging, and the sales process are not working together. And in my opinion, real momentum comes from choosing one clear direction and make sure that every part of the business supports it. As an example, my client Mariana struggled with the exact same thing before we worked on her foundations. Recently, she signed a 2.5k deal and sold 2 of her books by only working 2 months together with her. And remember to subscribe to this channel if you want more videos like this. And shoot me a DM on Instagram if you feel like this is the biggest bottleneck holding you back from achieving your goals.